Shalom, welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachodash, and next double honors to the head apostles / other bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well, peace, blessings, and safety. To all you sincere Akim, keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of whether people hear and whether they forbear. So I'm going to entitle this lesson, The Fate of the Wicked, pursuing to Job, the 18th chapter. And we're going to dive right into it. Okay, how righteous I mean the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right, so I'm going to start off here, Job 18 and verse 5. It says, Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. Okay, I'm going to read this in a different translation. All right, in the NLT it says, The confident stride of the wicked will be shortened, and their own schemes will be their downfall. Let's get a precept on that. Okay, the same traps that they set, they're going to fall into. All right, let's go to Psalms chapter 35. Okay, Psalms chapter 35, and I'm going to start at verse, I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, Let them be as the chaff before the wind, and let the angel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of Yahweh persecute them. For without cause they have hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. It says, Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself, and into that very destruction let him fall. Okay, and his technology, or his AI, okay, and most importantly, the weapon of mass destruction that he has created, known of as the ICBM nuclear missile, okay, is going to be the downfall of his kingdom. All right, the Heavenly Father had the technology go into the mind of the Slakia. He had the knowledge of how to build nuclear missiles, nuclear weapons, go into the mind of these Edomite scientists. Okay, J. Oppenheimer, all right, the father of the atomic bomb. Okay, and that ultimately he used that to put the nations in fear. Okay, as a trap. But that same weapon that he created is going to be the weapon that destroys his society and takes him out of his rulership. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so the confident stride of the wicked will be shortened. Their own schemes will be their downfall. Okay, so they don't have much time on the earth. Okay, they have an appointed time. Let's get Job 20. All right, Job 20 and verse 4. It says, Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? So it's going to be cut short. It says, Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, Where is he? Okay, so that's the fate of the wicked. Let's continue on. It says, For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. Okay, once again, as we read in Psalms 35, the same traps that he's setting up, okay, for Jacob are going to be the same traps that destroy him. It says, The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. Okay, so let's get that in the NLT as well. All right, it says, A trap grabs them by the heel, and a snare holds them tight. Okay, I like the ESV. It says, A trap seizes him by the heel, a snare lays hold on him. And I didn't pick this up before, okay, but I want to get this right quick, because it says that a trap, okay, grabs him by the heel. All right, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. All right, Jacob would grab Esau's heel. I didn't pick up on that before, but let's go ahead and read it. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? The end of the first is talking about the end of the age of the Gentiles. Okay, this earth age we're in, where the wicked is ruling. All right, it says, And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So that snare that's going to grab him, okay, his destruction is really Jacob, the star that would rise out of Jacob, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's the one that's grabbing him. The angel of the Lord is the one that's grabbing him up. Okay, and it's pretty much going to lead to his downfall. So I didn't pick up on that before, but that's pretty fire. Let's keep reading. It says Job 18:10. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Okay, and we're waiting for this patiently. All right, let's get the precept on it. Psalms chapter 94. I'm going to read verses 12 and 13. All right, it says, Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Yahweh, and teachest him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. So that's what's happening right now. Okay, the pit is being digged for the wicked. Okay, that snare is laid for him. All right, Job 18:11. It says, Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and his destruction shall be ready at his side. Okay, let's get a precept. Let's read this in NLT. Okay, it says, Hunger depletes their strength, and calamity waits for them to stumble. Okay, so that's pretty fire right there. All right, let's keep reading. Verse 13, Job 18:13, it says, It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. Who's the firstborn of death? Okay, the first one to receive of the resurrection, talking about Yahweh Shai. Okay, he was the first one to overcome death. All right, he sacrificed his life and he was resurrected. Okay, so he's the firstborn of death. Once again, that angel of the Lord that represents the star of Jacob. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is going to grab his heel and he's going to devour him. All right, Job 18:13, it shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. Let's read this in NLT as well, a different translation. All right, it says, Death devours their limbs. I don't like that one. I don't like that one as much. The firstborn of death. Okay. Yeah, see, it doesn't. They when they translated, they didn't pick up on the spiritual side of it. Let me see if I can find a precept on a firstborn. Just curious, because when as I study for these videos and make these videos, I'm also edifying myself. This is an impromptu. Okay, so let's look up the word firstborn. Let's see what comes up. Boom, got it. Colossians 1:18. Whew. Fire crackers. Let's get it. Colossians 1. I'll get some context on it. Okay, Colossians chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 13 for context. 12, Salakia. Giving thanks unto the Father, which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who hath delivered us from the power of darkness and translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son. Okay, and I just want to get that for context. Skip down to the point. Verse 18, and he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence. Whew, goodness. So once again, Yahweh Shai, the firstborn from the dead. We read it, Job 18:13, it shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. So this is talking about Yahweh Shai. This is how we know this is talking about end time judgment against the wicked, against Esau Edom, because okay, we just read that the firstborn of death shall devour him. All right, who is Yahweh Shai coming to devour at his second coming? Esau Edom. This is Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trod in the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. Whew, man, it's talking about Yahweh Shai. So he's going to bring down their strength to the earth. Didn't we just read right here Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. My goodness. You see how these precepts line up? It's beautiful. Let's continue on. Job 18:14. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. It shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. That's another judgment specifically for Esau, Edom. Okay, it's fire and brimstone. Let's get that right quick. Psalms 11:6. All right, it says, upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. All right, we could also get Psalms 21:9. Okay, thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Okay, and how is that fire going to happen? By the exact missile, the exact weapon that they set up to take over the earth. Okay, which is the ICBM nuclear missile that had the nations in fear. When they dropped, what they call it, Fat Boy, Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that had the nations in fear. And ultimately, ironically, that's going to be the same destructive technology that's going to be used to take them down by way of Russia, China, North Korea, etc., etc. Okay, this is the judgment that's specifically for Esau, as we're going to read right here. Isaiah 34 and verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Okay, this is imagery of a nuclear mushroom cloud. That's what it looks like. It looks like the sky is rolling itself together when a nuclear mushroom cloud goes up. And all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falls from off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. All the hosts of heaven, meaning all the hosts, the armies, host is another word for armies. All the armies of Esau's heaven, his rulership will be destroyed and dissolved. It says, here's the point in verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So it's like in the different names for Idumea. Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. Okay. You also got Basra. Basra was the chief city of Esau back in the day. So when we read that Isaiah 63 earlier, and it said, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Okay. So all this judgment that we're reading about is all pertaining to Edom, the Edomites. Okay. And the Lord said he's going to rain brimstone upon their habitation by way of the nuclear missiles. Verse 16, it says, his roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. All right, let's go ahead. Let's just keep reading. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Whew, goodness. He shall have neither son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. Okay, the Lord is going to eventually cut his whole seed line off. Let's get precepts on that. Okay, let's get Obadiah. All right, just so you know what to address to, I'm going to start from the top. Obadiah 1:1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Okay, just so you know who he's talking about. And skip down to verse 8. It says, shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So every one of the mount of Esau is going to be cut off by slaughter eventually. How's that going to happen? Okay, they're going to get burned. The nuclear missiles are going to burn all the Edomites here in America. But then later on, after 1,000 years of hardcore bondage, they're going to be thrown into one big bonfire. Obadiah 1:18. Okay, it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. So they're going to be burnt. Okay, and we serve 1,000 years of hardcore bondage, the millennial reign of Yahushua, who the word and they call Jesus, and then they're going to be put in one big pit and set on fire. Okay, let's get some more precepts. So their whole seed line is going to be completely cut off. Let's get Psalms 109 as well. Actually, no, Salaki. Let's get Isaiah 14 first. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. I start at 20. It says, "Thou shalt not be joined with him in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh, power of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord." Okay, just like we read in Job 18. In Job 18, what did it say? "He shall have neither son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings." You see that? Okay, so he's going to cut off from Babylon the remnant, the name, the son, and the nephew. That's how we know it's talking about this. These chapters line up together. Okay, and Esau is the ruler of this Babylon. Okay, this the daughter of Babylon. Right here, we're going to read it. All right, this is Psalms 137 and verse 7. "Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." Okay, so once again, remember the children of Edom in their wickedness, how they destroyed Jacob. "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." Okay, so that is what the judgment is for them. Okay, they're going to be everything they did to us. Once again, happy shall he be that rewardeth them as thou hast served us. Okay, everything they dished out, they're going to get it back double. All right, let's also get Psalms 109, another precept that tells you that their posterity, their children, their seed line shall be cut off. Okay, this is Psalms chapter 109, and this is curses against Esau, against the wicked. All right, Psalms chapter 109, and I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, "Let his children be continually vagabonds and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that he hath, and let the stranger spoil his labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any favor to his fatherless children. Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out." Posterity means children. Let their posterity be cut off. Okay? It says, "Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with the Lord, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out." That's what we read in Isaiah 14:21. "Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers." Okay? It says, "Let them be before Yahweh continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. Because that he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man, that he might even slay the broken in heart." And that's what Esau has done. So this is his fate. Okay? Be completely cut off. Isaiah 14 tells you, Obadiah tells you, Job 18 tells you, and then we just got the Psalms 109. Okay? So let's read it together again. I'm going to start at verse 18. Okay, start at 17, so lock you. Job 18 and 17. "His remembrance shall perish from the earth," just like we read in Psalms 109. "And he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. He shall have neither son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, and as they that went before were affrighted." Let's read this in NLT. It says, "People in the west are appalled at their fate, and people in the east are horrified." Okay, because nobody thinks that Esau can be taken down. Nobody believes that the so-called white man can be taken down. Okay, but they're going to be in for a great surprise. It says, "Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not the Most High." Okay, so this is the judgment. This is, Job is it's a book of prophecy, hidden prophecy. All right, and it's telling you what the fate of the wicked is here in this Job, the 18th chapter. So that's pretty much it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Heavenly Father's will was edifying. All right, and as always, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wadash. And until next time, Shalom, and abide b'ball.